This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It is 4:27 here on your Tuesday morning. We want to thank you for waking up early and starting your day with us here at RTV6. I'm Lauren Casey.
I'm Rafael Sanchez, in for Meredith Barrick, who's on vacation.
Yes, and we're looking forward to having her back, but thank you for being here to fill in for her.
And it's always great to wake up and see you in the morning. I always see you on emails and on Facebook, but it's good to see that Lauren is doing well. How's the baby?
Great. Doing great.
Right,
he woke up at 2, which is great.
That you're wide awake. We have a number of top stories this morning, including this one out of Muncie. Only on RTV6, the family member of that 15-year-old caught with a gun outside of Muncie Central High School talks to RTV6 as he faces some formal criminal charges. His family says he was not going to be the next mass shooter, and only on RTV6, the aunt tells us why he brought that weapon to school earlier this week.
Yeah, we're going to have more on that story coming up, but right now it is a pretty busy day in the weather department. Our Todd Clausen has been here since really early this morning, monitoring those storms moving in. They woke me up. Todd, what can we expect out there?
Yeah, you know, all the watches, all the warnings have expired. Okay. So we have no threat of severe weather from this point forward. We had a tornado watch that went into effect last night. No confirmed reports of tornadoes. We had a few isolated thunderstorm warnings down towards Bloomington and Knox County as well. And just a few very isolated damage reports for some gusty winds. But it's much calmer now. You can see most of the rain has actually moved out of central Indiana. It's still warm. It's still muggy, though, with temperatures that are currently in the 70s anywhere you go across the area. So from this point forward, there will be the chance of some spotty downpours off and on throughout the day today, but the severe threat has basically come to an end. And you'll notice the humidity still today with a high temperature right around 85. But once we get through today, I really think you're going to like the rest of the forecast for the remainder of the week.
You have been here since 1 in the morning. Thank you for your service, and thank you for getting the memo on wearing blue.
I know, we all got blue on today, so we didn't even coordinate.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, something we need to tell you about if you live in Indianapolis, we're talking about how the city wants to spend your tax dollars. We've just learned the mayor's proposed budget. They turned that into the City County Council, and we know a number of things on that list. Some of the things include body cameras, also a cut to the mayor's office funding, some money for DPW, and we're also going to learn a little bit more about a program that they're also working to fund, a panhandling program that's putting people who are on the streets to work. So we're going to have a number of different details from the mayor's plan because you're going to want to know about that.
A lot of money. We'll see where it's all going to go. And we also have a number of unique Hiring Hoosiers stories today. As you know, we're focused on classroom to career. A number of our team members are working on a number of stories, including this fascinating one. For those of you who love Xbox and old enough to remember the Atari, this is a special program using arcade games to encourage science and math. We'll tell you where you can take your children to participate in this program. That plus weather and traffic all coming up on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
We plan to retire here. This was our retirement home.
Next on Good Morning Indiana, a Southside couple being forced out of their home to make way for new interstate. Working for you, we're taking their concerns straight to the planning officials. Plus this.
He's not this cold-hearted next mass shooter that the school, wanted him to be.
We're hearing from the family of the Muncie teen who brought a loaded gun near a school. Only on RTV6 why his loved ones say that this teenager needs help. Right now it is 4:30 here on your Tuesday morning. Thanks for starting your day with us on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
I'm Rafael Sanchez, in for Meredith. It is Tuesday. We're close to Friday, right?
Yes,
right?
so close.
We're getting there.
One day down.
And of course, it's been an active overnight in the weather department. I could hear the thunder and the lightning and some rain, but things have calmed down.
Yeah, a lot of people saw thunder and lightning overnight. A few locations had a little bit of severe weather that went through southwestern portions of central Indiana. Didn't really cause too much in the way of damage, though. That it was the good news. There was a tornado watch that has now been dropped, so no additional threats of severe weather here throughout the day today, and there were no reports of any tornadoes here in the state. So that's even better news. We got some needed rainfall without the big-time severe weather threat across the area, and you notice radar is pretty quiet right now. Still some heavy rain over towards the Dayton area, but those are the storms that went through central Indiana, and they continue to push off towards the east. Now, as far as rain chances for the remainder of the day, we'll still have to keep the chance of an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the forecast. We're just not expecting any severe weather, but we're still in a very unsettled weather pattern here throughout the day today. So you may want to have the umbrella handy. These downpours, especially if we can break the clouds for a little bit of sunshine, they'll flare up pretty quickly across the area. We're in the 70s right now. Anywhere you go, it's very, very muggy. If you're heading to the State Fair today, you should be in decent shape. Again, there could be a stray downpour or two. You could just duck inside one of the barns to see some of the animals or some of the other exhibits. Let that downpour go through and you'll be just fine. About 85 degrees will be your high temperature for the day today. Once we get past today, another great stretch of weather for the middle half of the week. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. But right now, let's get a first look at the roadways on this Tuesday morning. Here's Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here's the live look right now at a crash. We're monitoring a cleanup in the left lane of I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. This is in the northbound lanes heading into the North Split. So just use caution as you're traveling in that area. You can see traffic is still getting by because it's early. Not a whole lot of headlights out that way, but we'll monitor this and keep you updated. It is part of that detour route for the southeast side closure of 465. Taking a turn now over to the airport. This is I-70, a little east of the airport ramps. If you're heading out early this morning to catch a flight and check in, you shouldn't have any problems on the interstates along I-70 there. So we'll continue to keep a close eye out for any other crashes or delays and keep you updated.
Lauren, thank you so much. The time now is 4:33 and RTV6 is working for you and getting answers for a couple facing the growing likelihood that they're going to be forced out of their home. Houses and businesses are being torn down as construction continues on I-69 south of Indianapolis. Penny and Douglas Bertie say they were never given a clear reason why their home is among the properties listed to be taken during I-69's construction. They say plans show the highway running behind their neighborhood. Penny Bertie says it's a tough time to move from the home she thought she'd live in forever. And Douglas was recently diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and skin cancer.
As far as I can remember, I have no memory of ever being told there would be a possibility when I-69 comes through, and I didn't even know about I-69, and that there's a chance, because I would never have purchased this home. Not when you're in your 50s. You don't want to move again. So, and live in limbo, and we have for the last 3 years.
INDOT tells us the new interstate is not slated to run through the Berties' property, but their home will likely be torn down to build some sort of drainage system. INDOT is currently assessing which properties they need to take. The Berties may be forced to leave their home as soon as January.
At 4:34, an issue that has neighbors in Castleton turning up their noses should be fixed by the end of the week. That's according to the Department of Public Works. A drainage project in the Castleton Farms neighborhood near 75th and Shadeland left behind dead fish and this terrible smell. DPW says the Homeowners Association knew the fish kill was necessary. Dredging work is getting underway. We're told the pond will be restocked once the project wraps up in November. And it's our mission to work for you. If you aren't getting the results that you deserve, reach out to us by emailing us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
The Indiana Department of Health is on alert after several cases of young people getting seriously ill after smoking electronic cigarettes. The department is asking doctors to report any young patients with a history of vaping who unexpectedly develop serious respiratory illnesses. Now, this comes after officials in Illinois and Wisconsin reported several young people with severe lung diseases. Those patients reported using e-cigarettes in the weeks and months prior to getting sick. We told you last week the Food and Drug Administration is also asking people who experience any health issues after vaping to contact the FDA.
A southern Indiana man accused of killing his girlfriend and eating parts of her body will stand trial next week as scheduled. In the courtroom, Joseph Overhansley told prosecutors he was completely innocent. Court records allege that Overhansley killed Tammy Jo Blanton nearly 5 years ago, dismembering her body and eating parts of it. Per Overhansley's request, an insanity defense will not be used, and as a result, the state will not seek the death penalty. His attorney's asking the judge to include some mental health evidence as to Overhansley's competence.
I foresaw a possibility that the defense might turn around and then try to get this evidence in anyway. And so I foresaw that possibility, and indeed the defense is trying to get mental health evidence admitted, contrary to the court ruling. And so today I was arguing against that strenuously.
Overhansley's attorney says it's necessary to show the jury that he doesn't understand what's happening in the courtroom. Rulings on the court motions are expected by the end of the week. Despite a number of interruptions in the court by Overhandsley, the judge says the trial will start Monday, and if he chooses to keep interrupting, then he'll have to watch his trial instead of being present for it.
The time now is 4:36, 75 degrees outside. A 15-year-old caught with a gun outside of Muncie Central High School now faces formal criminal charges. And only on RTV6, the boy's aunt says he needs help.
He's not this cold-hearted next mass shooter.
According to court documents, the teen had been disruptive on the day he brought that gun near the school last week. His aunt, who asked not to be named, says her nephew was being bullied and threatened and brought the gun to school for protection.
It was a bad decision, but he would have never used it. He would have never, unless he felt his life was in danger. And for him to have it, I think it made him feel a little more at ease, because if you're, why would you want to get up and go to school every day? And why would you be there all day long and then, and then try to do something at the end of the day?
The boy now faces several criminal charges, including possession of a firearm on school property.
It is 4:38. The leader of the Indiana National Guard is stepping down following a lawsuit accusing him of defamation. Governor Eric Holcomb says he recommended Major General Courtney Carr retire, and he received Carr's resignation letter on Saturday. It is effective Friday. A former contractor with the Indiana National Guard filed a lawsuit accusing Carr of retaliating against her after she reported his alleged affair with a subordinate. Brigadier General Timothy Winslow will serve as the interim adjutant general, according to the governor's office.
Next on Good Morning Indiana, a shootout kills a police officer in California. This morning, another officer is fighting for their life, and straight ahead, what we're learning about the moments before that deadly gun battle.
Plus, toxic algae being blamed for at least 3 dog deaths this week. We're working for you this morning with the information you need to know before your pup's next swim. Todd.
And Lauren's been an active overnight period with lots of thunderstorms moving through central Indiana. The severe threat has come to an end, but we are still dealing with a few downpours, as you see on Storm Team 6 radar. We'll talk about the rest of the day and look ahead to the rest of the week as well, coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 4:39. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We never stop taking care of you.
At 4:42, welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're keeping a close eye on traffic this morning as you're heading out the door. May run into some rain showers for your commute, but this is I-65 near County Line Road. Good morning to you on the south side. You can see traffic here is moving along smoothly, both northbound and southbound. We'll keep an eye out for any issues and keep you updated in just a few minutes.
Lauren, thank you so much. Time now 4:42. Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard putting her campaign on pause. Gabbard is a major in the Hawaii National Guard and will report today for active duty. The presidential candidate will head to Indonesia for a 2-week deployment and training exercise. She becomes the first candidate in the modern era to step away from the campaign trail to serve in the military. She's also the first female combat veteran to run for president. And also new this morning, the head of the Federal Aviation Administration says he will get his first formal briefing on the Boeing 737 MAX today. Now, during his swearing-in ceremony, Stephen Dixon said the grounded planes will not fly until he's assured it is safe to do so. As you may recall, the MAX was grounded worldwide after crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia killed 346 people.
Officials say an officer and a suspect were killed in a shootout with California Highway Patrol during a traffic stop. Riverside police say that for unknown reasons, the suspect began firing on officers. At least one CHP officer returned gunfire. The suspect was hit along with 3 officers. Officials later said the suspect died at the hospital. Riverside police say that one of the injured officers remains in critical condition and the second officer only has minor injuries.
So it looks like fewer international travelers are making a stop here in the U.S. And that's according to a report from the U.S. Travel Association. And they say that's a big loss for the U.S. economy. The organization reports the U.S. share in international travel market is on a 4-year slide. The association says that's a loss of 14 million international visitors and the $59 billion that could have been spent in the U.S. economy. The report says the travel slump could mean a loss of 120,000 U.S. jobs.
Innocent swims are making dogs really sick and in some cases killing them. It happened in Georgia, Texas, and also North Carolina. One family in North Carolina had taken their 3 Westies to a pond. All 3 got sick. 2 of them started having seizures almost immediately. Unfortunately, all 3 died within just 2 days. Vets say to get medical attention as soon as possible if you think your pet is sick from algae.
There's usually gastrointestinal signs. Dogs are just not acting themselves, not feeling well for a day or 2. Vomiting, diarrhea, lethargy would be the most common things we see.
Well, vets say that the toxic algae can stick on the dog's fur and it can to give them a bath after they go for a swim. The algae is usually found in shallow water when it gets really warm outside. It can also be found all over the country. You may even be able to spot it before your dog gets in the water. Sometimes you'll see the algae or the blooms floating on top of the water. Here at 4:45, we want to check in with Todd. He may be waking up with some rain showers or even some thunder out there, Todd.
Yeah, a lot of people had thunderstorms overnight. Not too many of you saw severe weather, though. That is the good news. Knox County down near the Vincennes area is pretty much the hardest hit county in the state with some reports of trees down, and that is just about it. So our rain chances aren't completely zero throughout the day, but you see they're about 10 to 20%. Here's the thing, though. When it does rain, if it does in your neighborhood, it's going to come down very heavy. So these are going to be kind of like these tropical-like downpours that'll flare up, drop a heavy rain, some heavy rain and a little bit of lightning, and maybe they move on. So we're not expecting any severe weather throughout the remainder of the day today. But there will be some rain chances going forward. So here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar. And you notice most of the action is off to the east across the state line now in Ohio. And to the north, there's a few areas of some rain. Some light rain in Bloomington as well as Bloomfield, Bedford, some light rain. And then there's some heavier downpours near the Sullivan area and down towards Shoals with some lightning. But that's the heaviest of the rain in Indiana right now. And it continues to stream off towards the east. We'll keep an eye on some of these thunderstorms that are in southern Illinois right now. Some of these, again, may sneak into southern locations. So for those of you in Bedford, Bloomington, Bloomfield, a lot of locations I just mentioned, you'll have the best opportunity to pick up some of this heavier rainfall here throughout the course of the morning hours. Otherwise, the rain chances today are pretty much going to be manufactured by the sunshine. Once the sun comes up, we'll have quite a bit of cloud cover around, but I think there will be some thinning in the clouds. And what happens with that is with the instability that we have around, as soon as you get into some sunshine, a downpour is likely to flare up pretty close to your neighborhood. So that's something to keep an eye on. The more clouds we see throughout the day today, the lower the rain chances are. And you notice, again, it's just a very, very spotty chance throughout the day. And then we'll maintain the storm chance through about sunset. And then once we get to the evening hours tonight and beyond, that's when we'll start to take this rain out of the forecast. The severe threat today, just a little tiny sliver of far southeast Indiana under the marginal risk for severe weather. And that'll be dropped too as those storms that are in Ohio push off towards the east. There's the view from downtown this morning. 75 degrees right now. Look at that dew point in the mid 70s. That's a very tropical-like feel, and that's why we could flare up these storms pretty quickly. Today's a muggy day for us with temperatures that are currently in the 60s and 70s, but we're going to see our temperatures today climb up into the mid 80s. So that's pretty seasonable temperature-wise, but the heat index value is probably going to be up into the low 90s just because we have so much humidity around, and again, a stray thunderstorm possible. Now tomorrow, things really start to improve. We get the sunshine back. The humidity comes way down throughout the day tomorrow, so it becomes more and more comfortable as the day goes on with high temperatures in the 80s. Then we'll continue that nice weather throughout the remainder of the week. I think Thursday is going to be a terrific day. Low humidity, sunshine, 80. As you wake up Friday morning, about 60 degrees in the city, 50s though in the outlying area. So it's going to be a comfortable stretch of weather before the heat starts to build back in, Lauren, as we go towards the weekend with highs getting back up to right around 90 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Here's a live look right now in traffic in the downtown area. We have a crash cleanup ongoing here. It's the left lane of northbound I-65 and I-70 here at the North Split. So a heads up as you travel travel through downtown, you'll have to scoot over to the right lane. Luckily, traffic's not too heavy at this hour. But let's take a look at our Traffic Now map and show you all the things that I'm monitoring this morning. Again, this is the crash right now, not causing too many delays, but we'll keep an eye on this and let you know if it does throughout the morning. We also have this area closed still. You'll remember this eastbound, northbound I-465 here on the southeast side. Here's your detour. Head through downtown on 65 and then east on I-70. And drivers on I-74 will have to head southbound on I-465 and then take that detour route to get all the way over here to the east side of town. Let's take a live look right now from our INDOT traffic camera. This one is I-69 at State Road 38 up in the Pendleton area where we have ongoing construction, but you can see this morning those orange barrels are pulled out of the travel lanes. Traffic is moving along up to speed. Just be cautious of any wet spots.
Lauren, thank you so much. The time now is 4:49, and more companies are trying to get those self-automated vehicles on the road, but experts want to make sure that they're safe to drive before they're deployed on the interstates or city streets. The Governor's Highway Safety Association just released this report. It notes that many people don't necessarily understand or trust self-driving cars. The report recommended state highway safety offices work with car developers and law enforcement to keep people safe. Highway safety advocates say they should be focused on today's traffic safety challenges before allowing those self-driving cars on our roads.
Insurance companies are in the process of gathering more information about what the impact of these technologies will be on the roads, in crashes, and that will ultimately lead to setting rates and premiums.
So aside from insurance rates, states may make changes as well to how people register their vehicles and how they get their driver's licenses. Keep those things in mind.
Well, coming up, a touching moment for Jackson County mom battling cancer. After the break, the hard work that led up to this heartwarming moment.
Plus, who says breaking into the workforce can't be all fun and games? Coming up all new at 5, our Aaron Lish shows us a unique program using video games, you heard me right, video games to help kids break into the tech industry. But first, this at 4:50.
I'm Vinny Politan. We're on a Verdict Watch today on Court TV in Tennessee versus Eric Boyd. A young couple was carjacked and murdered, and their families have been waiting more than 12 years for this moment. The jury deliberated 3 hours yesterday. They will be back at work today. When the verdict happens, you will see it and hear it live right here on Court TV.
And don't forget, you can watch Court TV anytime, anywhere. It's on CourtTV.com. Stay with us. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on RTV6. It's 4:51. We'll be right back after this break.
Financing for 60 months on select 2019 Atlas models.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 4:55 on your Tuesday, and here's a live look at traffic to our east. I-70 here at Sherman Drive. Traffic is traveling up to speed, both eastbound and westbound for your commute in this area. We'll keep an eye out for any issues and keep you updated.
I need a green flag for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, start your bathtubs. Yes, for the first time in 20 years, a bizarre bathtub racing tradition has returned to Monrovia, New York. Of course, it's New York. It has to be crazy. Teams raced modified bathtubs on wheels as part of the town's Milford Days Festival. The zany tradition started back in 1974, but went on hiatus after a crash injured someone back in 1999. The locals lobbied to return the race to the festival, but with some changes to increase safety. Now that's what we call some good old clean fun. Wow.
That's pretty funny.
Hey, wonder who took the checkered flag on that one.
I know.
Maybe we'll see that at the track someday.
Yeah,
maybe.
Bathtubs.
We'll call Doug Bowles, see what happens. A man serving time in southern Indiana getting to hug his mother on her last day of chemotherapy.
Yeah, and this is all thanks to a generous gesture from the sheriff. Well, the Jackson County Sheriff says Brad Parks has been extremely active on the inmate work crew and helps at a local food pantry. So as a reward for his good attitude, the Sheriff's Office surprised Parks by taking him to his mother's last day of cancer treatment. Sheriff Rick Myers says that if the inmates take time to make positive changes, they will be rewarded. Great story there.
There is redemption and everything, and good job to that. I'm not sure what that guy did in his past life, but being able to be with his mom, and that's amazing.
And then seeing you ring the bell.
Yeah,
she walks out.
Cool.
The other good part of that story being cancer-free. All right.
We heard thunderstorms.
Yeah, there were a lot of them overnight tonight. Here's radar right now, though, and you don't see much of anything in central Indiana, at least. That is good news for right now, but we will keep an isolated storm chance in the forecast off and on throughout the day, but we are not expecting any severe weather. Once we get to tomorrow, beautiful stretch of weather, the humidity comes down, temperatures in the 80s, and lots of sunshine leading into the weekend. The time now is 4:57. Stay with Good Morning Indiana. We'll be back here in just a few minutes.